Hi guys, so welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a tutorial on this look here. So this is literally just going to be sort of a chatty get ready with me type video. I haven't done one of these videos before, but I'm meeting my friend today, so I thought I might just sort of hop on camera and sort of do my makeup and chat while I do it. I've gone for something super simple today, nothing crazy like cut crease, colours, things like that, because I am just literally going to be walking around Hereford town centre. So I just wanted to do something nice and natural and focus in a bit more on the base as well, because I usually just sort of do my eyes in the tutorial and then flip to sort of the end of the video to see the finished look. But if you guys do have any ideas on other videos, please pop that in the comments below. I'd be happy to take a look and do whatever you like. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye! Hey guys, so I'm going to start off with my eyes. I'm not doing anything too crazy because I'm literally just sort of going to town in Hereford, so I'm not going to do any like cut creases or bright colours. So I've just decided to do this sort of like matte, sort of slightly smoky eye with a half lash. And the palette that I'm going to use is the Melt Cosmetics Gemini. So I've used this on my channel before, where I've just used sort of this portion here, like the greens, but I'm going to be focusing on this side now. I mean, I did really want to use the shimmer, but I thought, no, you know, I'm only going to be walking around town, so I was just going to do something quite natural, a little bit smoky. Because I'm going to be packing dark eyeshadow on, I want to use like a sort of creamy base beforehand, just so I don't have to keep packing and packing, and I find that when you keep packing eyeshadow on, it sort of takes it off. So I don't actually have a brown sort of eyeshadow base. I do have my eye on the Vieve shadow sticks, but for now I'm going to be taking my Chanel Soleil de Tan and just sort of taking it on this brush and patting it on my lid. It's quite a light cream bronzer, so I find that it does blend out quite nicely anyway, and it's sort of a nice sticky base for the shadow that I'm going to pack on top. So I'm just grabbing any sort of blender brush with nothing on, just to blend out those edges. So I have primed my eyes with the Benefit Cakeless Concealer shade 1 with a little bit of loose powder just to set, and on my brows I've used the Pink Honey Original Superhold, and then my skin is prepped with a Jeffree Star Skin, just the cleanser toner and moisturiser. I've put a little bit of my Kiehls oil just down before my moisturiser, and then I've put some Estee Lauder eye cream on, and I've put the Benefit Porefessional just on my nose, ready for when I do my foundation. Okay, so I'm going to dip into this Gemini palette now. I'm going to take this shade here called Lorelei. It's a really nice sort of rusty colour, and I'm going to take it on quite a fluffy brush. So this one's just from the Jaclyn Hill collection with Morphine. It's the JH40. And I'm just going to blend out those edges. And just sort of blow it out a bit. So today is Saturday. I've just sort of filmed this get ready with me because I do have quite a busy day ahead of me. So I didn't really have a planned sort of day of filming. So I'm going to town to get some birthday bits. It's my niece's birthday next weekend. Then in the same week you've got Jake, my partner's birthday, on the 21st of April, and then mine and Steph's on the 24th, and well, Steph's my twin sister. So I've got a few birthdays that I've got to sort of buy for. So my best friend Paige is coming down from Newport. I haven't seen her since before Christmas. It'll be really nice to see her, and we're sort of going to go to town and hang out because she needs to get some bits as well. Oh, I'm just going to go into this shade here called Luna. And this is just on a normal sort of Morphe fluffy brush as well. Just to smoke that out a bit further. So yeah, that's my Saturday all laid out, and then sort of in the evening I think that Jake and I are going to go watch the Fantastic Beasts film. I'm not sure if that's the final film, because I know there's been two films before, so I don't know if that's just sort of, it's going to be the final film, but really looking forward to it. So I've literally just taken a little bit of well, face powder on a big fluffy brush just to blend the edges, because I like to have a bit of a gap between, well, I don't really like my shadow to go into my brow, so I've just sort of gone around the outside. And then I'm going to go back into that Luna shade and blend it again. Next shade is this one here called Polka Dot. So I'm just taking this on a flat brush. This is the Beauty Bay Multitasking Master. Just any sort of flat packing brush. I'm just popping it straight on top of the Chanel Soleil de Tan base. I'm getting right up close to the eyelashes as well. Don't want any gaps, because this is quite a nice sort of chocolatey brown shade. And I think that I'm going to do like a chocolatey liner in the waterline as well, just to sort of be nice and smoky. So I'm just going to take this Morphe brush as well. It's a slightly bigger pencil brush, and just blend that polka dot shade. I find at this stage, if you haven't used a base and you just pack the shadow on, I feel like when you're starting to blend it, it almost sort of wipes it away, which is why I like to have a little base down, just to keep that sort of colour definition, so you don't have to keep wasting time going back in, packing it on, blending it away and sort of packing it on again. It's just, it's exactly how I want it the first time. And then I'm literally just going to go back into those shades, Lorelei and Luna, just to blend this out. So my birthday presents have been arriving the past couple of days. I don't know if this is one of them, but I have quite a short dressing gown. I mean, it's still nice and fluffy and it's got a little hood and things, but I quite like to wear Jake's dressing gown, because his is sort of full length and it's a little bit bigger, so it's nice and sort of fluffy and warm. And Jake was buying himself a new one anyway, because his one's got a little hole in it, and I was cooking with it, and because it's so long on me, I just completely forgot what I was doing, and I was sort of stirring a pan, and I caught sort of this bit on the edge of the pan and it sizzled and it's gone quite hard. So I think that was sort of Jake's little push to get a new dressing gown. So he got one from John Lewis, and it actually arrived Well, it should have got here on Thursday, but I think it was Amazon or whoever it was delivered it to the wrong address. So Jake had to go and get it when he found out where it was actually delivered. And he surprised me with this one, and this one's sort of full length. It's really nice and fluffy. It's so warm and so soft. So I'm just sort of living in it at the moment. And then my Beauty Bay parcel arrived. I ordered the Norvina 6, which is her newest sort of colourful palette, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I had a sneak peek because I had to make sure it wasn't broken. And I ordered her bottom lashes called, I think it's A Moment, because I just feel like when I do my makeup and I'm sort of taking photos, that you can't really see definition on the bottom, and I feel like adding the false lashes will just sort of add a bit more to my looks and things. So I'm really excited to use those. But I can't use them for another 2 weeks because they need to be wrapped up. So I'm just curling my lashes now, just getting ready for the half lash that I'm going to wear. I always like to pulse and curl my lashes, especially when I'm using a half lash. So the ones I'm going to be using are these Vieve ones. They are the HL5 and they're the Smoky. They're so nice. Okay, so whilst I'm waiting for the glue to get tacky, I'm just going to take my Roller Lash mascara. I really like this one because it's got a sort of fine comb to it, so I can really push my lashes up and separate them. I really like to do this on the inner corner because obviously I am just using a half lash. It's only going to take it to about here. So I like to look nice and lashy. This is probably my favourite mascara from Benefit, just because I just find the other ones are really cloggy. So I have already put down some Jeffree Star moisturiser, but I'm just going to give it a touch up. My face always goes so red when I touch it. So next I'm going to take the Skin Nova. So this is from Jamie Genevieve's brand, and this is sort of like a radiance primer. It reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury Wonder Glow, which I absolutely love. Sort of just so you can see it's really glowy. So I'm just going to pop this around my face. Oh, that's really pretty. So I did actually forget to put my SPF on, but I've just patted it on top, and this is the Larocheposay. It's really nice and lightweight. So I am going to spot conceal before I put on my foundation. I just like to do it this way so I don't keep going in with sort of foundation then concealer on top of that. I find that this sort of really helps. Because it's not the spots themselves, it's just that they can show up quite red. So I'm just gently sort of bouncing that into my face. So my next step is, of course, the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless filter. So for my foundation, I'm going to be taking the NARS Natural Radiant Foundation. I do find that it is slightly yellow for me, so I'm going to mix it with a little bit of this Estee Lauder Futurist, because this one's sort of more pink, and I feel like that's going to sort of balance out the tones. I'm just sort of mixing it up. Back of the mixing palette, and then I'm just going to sort of dab bits onto my face. And get my hair out of my face. So I'm just going to take my Peaches PC08 and just dab that in. So I like to use this brush for the initial blend, and then I like to go in with my sponge and just sort of blend it out a bit more, just because I don't like to see any brush strokes. I'm just taking my Made by Mitchell sponge. This was so soft. And just sort of blending with more care around the nose and things where the brush couldn't quite get there. So I did go and watch Morbius in the cinema last week. I mean, I thought that it was okay. I didn't really think that it was worth having a film of his own. Like, I know that some people have said he should have just been a villain in a Spider-Man film, and I completely agree. I think that's sort of what it's leading up to. They might have just sort of wanted to give him his own moment to lead up to it, but it's one of those films that it was okay. You know, there's a little bit of action, but I probably wouldn't watch it again. Okay, so now we have our foundation blended. I'm going to go in with the Chanel Soleil de Tan bronzer, and just on this sort of flat brush here to pick up the product. I'm just going to place it. So I don't have a huge forehead, so I'm just going to sort of pop it on the corners. So I don't need like a big stripe all the way around. And then I like to do it quite high. I mean, I know that it's sort of from your ear here, I can see this bit here, but I just find that when I blend it, it looks so low that I've started to actually sort of, I mean, this is the bone here, so I'm just sort of taking it right on there and curving it around. And then down the nose, all the way down. I feel like this part's quite chunky, so I just like to go sort of all the way down and just completely cut it off. just feel like my nose looks like a bloody tree trunk. So I'm going to take this Real Techniques brush here and just sort of buff it in, and I'm pushing it upwards as I'm blending. And then blending around my hairline as well. So I feel like I initially use sort of brushes to blend things out, and then to get that sort of seamless blend all over, I do go in with my sponge. I just feel like I always go back to my sponge. It is sort of my favourite tool to use other than sort of like your fingers. I like this brush because it's quite angled. Then going back in with my sponge to finish off that blend. That's an ice cream van. I'm not going sort of too heavy with anything today because I am literally just walking around town centre. So I'm going to be taking sort of everybody's favourite blush, and this is the Charlotte Tilbury Pinkgasm, I think it's called, Beauty Wand. So I'm literally just taking this quite high up and back. And take this little brush here from Real Techniques and just sort of blend the edges. And then my sponge. And pulling it up. So my next project is concealer, and I'm going to be taking the NARS Creamy Concealer, and this one's in Chantilly. I think this is their lightest one. I do really like this concealer, I just don't think that you get a lot in it. So I'm just going to be doing that trick that sort of everybody does. Putting a little bit at the front and then a little bit at the end to lift. I mean, I will admit in my youth I did the full-on V bringing it down, but you do not need that much concealer. And then I am just going to take some down the centre of my nose. And then just a little bit here to sort of chisel out the cheeks. I mean, I will be going over it with some translucent powder. So I did watch Jamie Genevieve's live showing off her brushes, and I do have to say I do really want her concealer brush. It just looked so nice, and she used it with this concealer. So what I'm doing is I am literally just sort of moving it a bit with the brush before I go in with my sponge. I don't want my sponge to sort of take up I feel like your sponge sort of soaks up a lot of product, so I am just sort of patting it out and letting it sit. before going in with my sponge. Just blending down the nose. And then we'll sort of redefine with some Hoola light. So I'm just doing one eye at a time because I am going to be baking today. So I'm just blending this out to how I like it, sort of right up to the nose here as well, to give my nose contour its own moment. Then when I'm happy with the blend, I'm going to take my Huda Beauty loose powder, and I'm going to take this Real Techniques powder sponge and just pack that in. So I don't usually leave my bake for too long. In the meantime, I am going to take my Hoola light on a little blender brush and just sort of go down the bridge of the nose. So blend it right into my eyeshadow as well. So I don't use the same bronzer on my nose and my face. I feel like it's too dark, so I use Hoola light on my face. I use Hoola light on my nose, sorry, and then another powder on my face. Okay, so I'm just going to dust away. And then just soften that contour with my sponge a bit. So for my face, to bronze that up, I'm going to go in with the MAC Give Me Sun. It is my latest obsession for bronzer. I'm not going to go too heavy with it. I have actually asked my sister for the Vieve bronzer, so that might sort of take the top spot when I get that for my birthday. I feel like I'm just sort of obsessed with the Jamie Genevieve's brand at the moment. Like I've got the Pesca blush and the Pinch lipstick for my birthday as well off Jake. They are currently in the kitchen, sat on the table because they arrived this morning, and I mean, I really want to wear a peachy blush today, and I really want to go in there and pick it up because Pesca just looks beautiful. I've got Sorbet already, which is the sort of really bright pink, but I mean, I toss it up. Sometimes I like to be quite peachy, and then I like to be really sort of pinky. And I mean, I've got peachy blushes, like I've got Ecstasy from Charlotte Tilbury, but that's a bit more, that's quite shimmery. And then I've got Georgia blush, Coralista and Sugar Bomb from Benefit, but I find those are quite shimmery as well, and they don't hold a huge amount of pigment, so I really wanted to try Pesca because I really love how bright and matte sorbet is. So I don't really sort of cream contour my chin. I just like to take a teeny bit of powder just around. Maybe if I was sort of going out or it was like date night or something, I'd really sort of chisel it, but this is just a quick chatty get ready with me. So I'm just doing sort of an all over bronze instead of a chisel contour. Okay, so because I'm not allowed to go in and use Pesca, I'm going to be taking the Georgia blush from Benefit. So this is quite a shimmery peach, but the colour underneath it is quite nice. And I'm just taking that high up. So then I'm going to go in with that powder sponge again and just sort of define my contour a bit more. And dust away just as quickly. In terms of my under eye powder, I am going to use the Charlotte Tilbury airbrush powder. So I do really like this powder, but I find it performs better when you use a loose powder. So I sort of use a loose powder before and then I pat this over the top and it's just flawless. Okay, so I'm feeling very matte, so I'm just going to take a teeny bit of the Vieve Skin Dew. I'm just going to take it on my finger and just sort of pat it for where I want some glow. I'm only taking a teeny bit. And then take my sponge. I've got a little bit of glow to my nose. Taking the teeniest bit. I find that this Skin Dew, it's quite sticky, but once it's down it just looks so pretty. So I'm only taking a teeny bit. So usually I would not put a cream product down after I've just sort of done my powder. But this Vieve Skin Dew, it does work really nicely, sort of over powder as well. Because I was going to be quite matte, and then I thought, no, I look too matte now. I need a bit of dew. I'm just popping sort of a teeny bit on. Okay, so I'm going to finish up these eyes, and I'm going to take the Benefit Deep Brown pencil and pop that in my waterline. So I'm going to go back into the Melt Cosmetics Gemini palette, little smudger brush, taking that shade Polka Dot and just gently running it underneath. I want this quite tight, I don't want it to be sort of blown out smoky at the bottom. Then a bit of Lorelei, just to gently blend that out. So I'm just going to run a little bit of Gimme Brow through my brows. So this one is actually shade 1. It's a bit more ashy as opposed to the sort of dark brown. It's 3. I didn't want too much attention to my brows because I do like them quite fluffy, and I feel like if I had dark eyes, dark brows, I don't know, it wasn't a vibe for me. So I just thought, let's put something quite ashy on my brows. So I've gone with shade 1 instead. In terms of the sort of rest of my face, I don't tend to put concealer on unless I think that it's sort of needed, but I haven't really got any big blemishes that I need to cover, so I am just going to go in with this brush sponge and just gently pat the Huda Beauty loose powder all over. So I'm just taking this sort of big ass Morphe brush, swirling it in, and then just sort of patting it on top. And then when it comes to my nose, I will just do sort of the sides, because I get a little bit oily there. And then I'll do sort of between my brows. I don't really powder my forehead because my forehead doesn't really go oily, to be fair. It's mostly sort of around here that I see cracking, and around my nose that I see more oil. And of course around the sides of my face I've used powder bronzer and powder blush, so I don't really need to go over with powder because those areas are powdered. Okay, so for my lips, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to do Boldly Bare from MAC or Vieve Bark. I don't want this look to be too dark. I'm just trying to think. I think I'm going to go with Boldly Bare. Then I'm going to go in with MAC Cosmetics Myth. As it's that sort of perfect light nude. So I am actually going to go in with a bit of Vieve Bark, just to darken up the edges. So I'm just going to spray with some Urban Decay setting spray. Curtain from the Milk Cosmetics palette. Create a fan. Lovely. And then the last little bit of my F-proof mascara I save to do my bottom lashes. as this is the only mascara that I've found that doesn't transfer. And I always do my bottom mascara after my setting spray. So I feel like I need to put something on the inner corner. So I'm going to go in with my Orgy palette. I don't want anything shimmery or too light, so I'm just going to go into the shade Vanilla Latex and just gently sort of pop it on the inner corner. Just so it looks a little bit brighter. That looks a bit better. Okay, so this is virtually the finished look. I am just going to try on about 10 million different outfits because the weather looks sunny, but it may be very, very cold. But this is the finished makeup look, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!